Hello everybody and welcome to Notorious Yu-Gi-Oh! I'm Notorious Cly, and no preamble, no intro today. We've got some really cool, interesting things to talk about, so let's talk about them. We got a new Jack Atlas skill, everybody. It's called Roaring Soul. You can see it right over here. I'm going to leave that highlighted so it's easier for me to read and easier for all of you to see, hopefully. First thing we should always do with Yu-Gi-Oh! Is read. I know that pains all of us to say and hear, but let's do it. So let's read the skill together. This skill can only be used once per duel by sending one Fiend-type monster from your hand to your graveyard. Send one Resonator monster or one level 4 Dark Fiend-type monster from your deck to your graveyard. Then add one level 4 Fire Fiend-type monster to your hand. You cannot special summon monsters during this duel except for synchro monsters, tuner monsters, and special summoning from the hand. You can also use each of the following effects once per duel and max one effect per turn. Why do you just have to pick which of these two that you're using? That's worded a little weird. I'm gonna have to try and reread this and actually figure out what it does, but I'm not going to do that right now. We're going to keep moving forward because there's only one of these that we really want to do. So number one, if you control Red Dragon Archfiend, return one Fiend-type monster on your field and one in your hand to your deck, then set one Red Rain to your field from your deck. That is insane. Not as insane as I first thought it was when I first read it when it came out this morning and I was still sleepy and just waking up at 4 a.m., but still insane. And then the second effect is during this turn, defense position Resonator monsters you control cannot be destroyed by card effects. So are you picking one of those two that you're going to activate? Can also use each of the following effects once per duel. So you can use them both. Each of the following. Sorry, everybody. It's been a long day, but I'm still trying to get this video out because it's very important to me that I do. This is something I've been looking forward to for a very long time, as I'm sure most of you have been. For those of you wondering, what is this skill trying to get us to do? What is it doing for resonators? And is it any good? Don't worry. I got you. So first and foremost, is the skill any good? Yes, I think it's incredible. I think it's crazy. I may be a little biased and excited, but I'm just going to need you to trust me on this one, bro. Kidding. There's no trust me, bros. I'm going to tell you all the reasons why I think this is an incredible skill and why I think it may end up replacing Demon's Resonance. Actually, I know it's going to end up replacing Demon's Resonance for me, and we'll cover all that a little bit later. For now, I want to focus on the broad scope of what the skill is trying to get you to do. The skill is trying to turn Resonators into a one-card combo deck. You do this by setting up your graveyard with a Resonator, and that's the send one Resonator monster or one level 4 Dark Fiend type monster from your deck to your graveyard part of the skill. And then you add one level 4 Fire Fiend type monster, which is Red Sprinter, from your deck to your hand. So any one Fiend in your hand becomes a Crimson Resonator in the graveyard and a Red Sprinter in the hand. And for those of you who don't know Red Sprinter is part of the Red series of cards, which are Jack Atlas support cards. I believe he uses them in the Arc V, Arc 5, whatever you want to call it, anime. And Red Sprinter, when normal or special summoned, and you control no other monsters, can special summon one level 3 or lower Fiend type tuner from your hand or your graveyard. So the play would be open one Fiend in your hand, use skill, dump that Fiend to the graveyard, dump Crimson Resonator from your deck to the graveyard, add Red Sprinter, normal Red Sprinter effect, special summon back the Crimson from the graveyard, or if you happen to have a second one in hand, you can use the one in hand, special it. Synchro summon for Red Rising effect, target Crimson Resonator. You guys probably know this part now. Crimson Resonator, Red Rising, target Crimson Resonator is special summon back. Crimson Resonator effect, special summon up to 2 Resonators not named Crimson Resonator from hand or deck. You're probably going to be summoning 2 Red Resonator for deck. And then Red Resonator effect, gain 2,100 life points, and then Synchro Summon into Red Dragon Archfiend. At which point, you now have Red Dragon Archfiend on the field. Which means if you have any other Fiend-type monster in your hand, you can return one of the Resonators you special summoned off of Crimson, and one Fiend monster in your hand back to the deck to set Red Rain directly from your deck. Wow. One card combo gets you 6,100 life points, Red Dragon Archfiend plus another Resonator, and Red Rain set directly from your deck. Let's go read Red Rain now, because I'm sure some of you are wondering what this card is. That's not how you spell rain. There it is. Let's go ahead and Go Red Rain. So, if you control level 8 or higher synchro monster, banish all monsters on the field except the monster with the highest level. We're not done yet. Also, the remaining face-up monsters on the field are unaffected by other card effects except their own until the end of this turn. If a Dark Dragon synchro monster is synchro summoned to your field while this card is in your graveyard, you can add this card back to your hand. You can only use this effect of Red Rain once per turn. So you can only recycle it once per turn, but you can stack the banish as much as you want. This card in the Resonator RDA community is often referred to as a win condition, and I'm sure you can see why. If you control a level 8 or higher synchro monster, it doesn't have to be Dark Dragon Synchro, it doesn't have to be Red Dragon Archfiend, it can be any level 8 or higher synchro monster. You can banish all monsters on the field except for the one with the highest level. You are going to use this to interrupt your opponent at a key moment in their play, their turn, to banish all monsters they control. You're going to do this before they can contest the level monster that you have. In our scenario, it would likely be 8 or 10, sometimes 12. The ability to recycle this card if you synchro summon Dark Dragon Synchro type monster is nice, but let's be honest, if you activate and resolve the first effect of Red Rain, you should win the duel. You shouldn't need to recycle this. The only time recycling comes up in other formats like Master Duel or the TCG is when you're using Red Rain as discard fodder for another card's effect, and then that other card or other cards in your hand will eventually synchro summon a Dark Dragon Synchro type monster, so you get Red Rain back. So you basically got to pay the cost of another card's effect for free. That's when that effect really comes in handy. But it is nice to know that if you set this on the field, it gets sniped by an MST or whatever, and you somehow survive the turn, on your follow-up play, you will be able to add it back to your hand and then hopefully set it and use it on your opponent's next turn. So that's Red Rain, everybody. The win condition for Resonators. There's a lot of speculation as to how Red Rain is going to enter Duel Links because Roaring Soul specifically mentions that you get to set it from your deck, which means you would have to have access to the card to actually put it in your deck. So it can go any number of ways. It could be a main box card, could be a mini box card, could be in the card trader, could be a Jack Atlas level up reward, could be a special bundle deal, could even be an event reward. Some of those are more likely than others. I personally believe that a card that strong is probably not going to be available at 3. They're going to soft lock it at 1 by only allowing you to have 1 copy, whether it be through the bundle deal like they did with Top Logic Bomber Dragon recently, or whether it be Jack's level up reward. There's a 5D's level increase coming, I believe. I think they're bumping the levels up to 45. I could very well see this being Jack's level 45 level up reward. That's a cool way to reward your regular Jack Atlas Resonator players and long-term players because they'll already have Jack Atlas pretty highly leveled up, in addition to being a nice way to lock the card to 1 copy without necessarily needing to put a limit 1 on it. And that's our new skill, Roaring Soul. Some of you may be wondering or asking right now, so what exactly does this mean for Resonators? What is the new Roaring Soul Resonators going to look like? And I've got good news for you. I've been theory crafting something all day in my head, and I finally managed to find some time to hop onto my computer, load it into Dueling Book, and share with all of you. So let's head on over to DB right now.